Hello everyone, my name is Prashant and I'm the founder of IdeaWeaver AI, where we work at the intersection of Gen AI and DevOps, as well as our aim is to simplify the AI education, especially for DevOps, SRE, platform engineer, and for forward deploy engineer. We have a batch which is starting in the month of September. It is a 90-day intensive batch where we are going to discuss about the five important topics, generative AI and LLM engineering for DevOps or SRE perspective or for platform or for forward deploy engineer perspective. Same thing, Python and DSA, system design, DevOps and SRE automation, hands-on AI project. So if you're interested in that, please check out the link in the description and please feel free to enroll. Today, I am going to discuss about one important topic, which is called LLM Inference. And on the top of that, I'm going to discuss about three important topics inside it called Prefill, Decode, and KV Cache. Now, to start this, let's start with a simple example. When you type a question into a chat GPT, the answer may appear almost instantly. But behind a scene, a lot of things happening. The model does not usually generate the entire answer in one shot. Instead, it first processes your input and then start generating the response one token at a time. For example, if you ask this question like what is the capital of France, the model first need to process your entire question. Then it began generating the answer. Like it first generate the, then capital, then of, then France, then is, and then Paris. Each new token is generated using information from the token that came before it. So France is generated by using the information of and all the previous tokens. At first glance, this sounds simple, but this small process is the foundation of almost everything we do in LLMs. So I'm going to introduce you to three very important ideas. First concept is called prefill, which means processing the input prompt, which is this one, the question that we have asked. The second thing is called decode, which is generating the response one token at a time. And the final thing is called KV cache. And KV cache means remembering useful information from previous token so the model does not have to repeat the same work again and again. So decode means this step where we are generating the response. And KV cache, we are going to discuss all these concepts in depth, but at a high level at this point of a time, when it generated the next token, let's say in this case, it's France, it already performed the calculation for all these tokens. So we don't need to perform these calculation again. It's going to save all these pre-calculation in some place which is called KV cache. We are going to reutilize that existing calculation and we are just going to focus on generating this next token. So let's take a look at this step by step with the help of an example. And for the purpose of this, I have created this Google Colab where we are going to use the Google model Gamma, but please feel free to use any other model. And we are going to use the Hugging Face library transformer library. Now, first step we are going to do, we are going to install two packages. One is transformer package and torch package. And don't confuse this with the transformer, which comes out as a part of this GPT paper. But this is a transformer library which is provided by the Hugging Face. And what this library helps us to download and run the model. So it provides us an easy way through which we can download and run the model. Then we have the torch, which provides the underlying framework used to execute the model. So we are going to look both of these things step by step. Next thing is, this is an important part where we are importing pipeline. And think of it pipeline as a wrapper. So under the hood, once we load the model or once we are passing the text to the model, bunch of steps happening. Like it's going to tokenize it, it's going to load the model, it's going to prepare the tensor, it's going to run the inference, it's going to decode the output. So pipeline is going to take care or handle all these tasks for us. in the next code, we are not going to rely on pipeline to do all these steps for us. We are going to do all these steps manually, step by step. Next part is we are going to load model. And here we are passing the two important information, text generation, which we are telling Hugging Face that what we want to do with this model. And in this case, we are going to give the model some text and ask it to continue generating text. So here we are passing this text, which is called explain how a rainbow is formed in simple terms. So it's going to generate the response for us. And in the second part, we are telling Hugging Face which model we want to use. And we are using this Google Gamma model, but please feel free to use any model. At this point of a time, Hugging Face take care of downloading and loading the required model component for us. Then, like I told you earlier, that we are going to pass this prompt. And when we are passing this prompt, we are going to pass it to the model. And we are expecting the model to generate a response for us. And for that purpose, it is going to use generator, which we are going to see in next few minutes. We are passing the prompt. We are specifying the maximum length, which we are telling the model with the help of this setting, limit the overall sequence length. On the top of that, we are defining something called num return sequence equal to 1, where we are telling the pipeline that we only want one generated response. And finally, we are printing the generated response, which look like this. So in this case, as you have seen, pipeline object take care of all the heavy lifting. On the top of that, we have something called generator. So in order to understand the generator, let me tell you that the model does not simply take the sentence and magically return, and several things happens behind the scene. Our text first be converted into something called tokens. Those tokens must be processed by the model. And then model begin generating a new token. Again, just to re-emphasize that point, that it does not normally generate the entire answer at once. It generates the response one token at a time. So here we have seen that pipeline has done all the heavy lifting. In the next code, we are going to do all these steps manually. And instead of using pipeline, we are going to use something called auto tokenizer and auto model for causal LLM. So let's look at this one by one. So first thing is, what is tokenizer? I think some of you guys may be aware. Tokenizer is going to convert a human readable text into token that the model can work on. So if you look at here, if we are passing this text, explain how a rainbow is formed in simple terms, these all will be converted into something called token ID. Then the model receive these token and try to predict the next token. All these token ID is received by this gamma model and it is trying to predict the next token. Basically, it's a kind of a next token prediction task. Next step is the tokenizer. So in the previous step, we are just defining it. This is a step where we actually converting that text into a token ID. We can also print token ID and we can also print the shape to determine how much of that text is converted into a token ID or the number. All the input text is converted into this token ID and we have the number of input token equal to 11. Now, if we go back to our code, we are asking Gamma to predict the next token. And at the top of that, we are asking Gamma just to generate the 100 token. We go through the loop after this, like this, first step in range. And inside the loop, we first take our current sequence, which is this. Then we pass this to the Gamma model, which is over here. And this is one of the most important line in this example. Here, conceptually, we are asking Gamma here currently I have all of these tokens. What do you think will become next? Again, just to remember, gamma does not simply return one word. Instead, it produces score for many possible tokens. And what is that score? You probably have heard the word called logits a lot in the generative AI. So think of logit at model raw score for possible token. So it will look something like this, that it generated this raw score. That the next token may be light, which has a raw score of 8.2, water 6.7, sun 5.9. So remember this point, the higher the score, the more strongly the model considered that that token is a good candidate. In reality, the gamma has a very large vocabulary. I'm just trying to oversimplify it. I think it's 256K. So it produces score for thousands of these possible tokens. But our main focus is only the next token, which is this one. So we select the prediction corresponding to the final position, or what we are saying, what should come next. Then we are converting scores into probabilities. So this is the task of softmax, which convert the model row score into probability. So this will look like this, like light 70%, water 20%, sun 10%. These numbers are again for illustration purpose, but the idea is what matter. Now the model has a probability distribution over possible next token. It is going to choose the next token like this over here. So far, model has not generated the entire response. So whatever the new token which is being generated, it is being appended like this. And this adds our newly generated token to the existing sequence. So if the response is A, then rainbow. So first response will be A, let's say. The next response will be rainbow. So this will be A and rainbow. Again, whatever be the next token will be, it will keep on appending to this. So if it's forms, so it's A, rainbow, forms, and so on and so. Now, the point is where this whole generation process will be stopped. And for that purpose, we have something called EOS, or called end of sequence token. And we are checking that if this end of sequence token is met. So basically what we are saying, we are telling the model that I am finished generating the response. On the top of that, if you remember, we also have the limit where we are specifying that only generate the 100 token response. So generation stop when either the stopping condition is reached or we hit our maximum number of new tokens. And finally, so far we are talking about the token. We need to convert this token into a human readable text. And that is the role of this decode, which is going to convert this into a human readable text. So this is how this whole thing works. But there is a huge problem in this whole process. And if you look at carefully, like we have the 11 tokens, right, which we have started with. Now, like we have discussed so far, it is going to generate a next token, which is the token 12. But in order to generate this token number 12, we are feeding all this information back to the model, which is a complete waste of compute power. So isn't it be good that we store all the computation that we have performed in some kind of a cache, and we can reutilize it so that we can save some of our computation tasks? Or other way to put this out, that we can remember our previous work. And that is the function of something called KV cache, or called key value cache. So all of you who is aware of this paper, attention is all you need, they are calculating attention score, they have used this KV cache. So you don't need to understand all the mathematics behind it, but think of it like whenever we are generating a new token, we don't need to calculate all the previous token that is being calculated. We are just going to focus on the last token. So for A, the important token is in. For rainbow, the important token is A. all this information will come out from the KV cache and we don't need to recalculate it again and again. So how we are going to do that? Let's understand that with the help of the code. Again, you don't need to understand under the hood of KV cache, but just think of it like we are saving some of our calculation. So if you look at the code over here, this is the important line. We are setting up a variable called pass KV value equal to none. Because at the very beginning, the model have not processed anything yet. So there is nothing to remember. So before first model execution, KV cache is set to none. Then we start processing the prompt. So in the first iteration, we give Gamma the complete prompt, which is, if you see it over here, we have input ID and pass key value this and use cache equal to true. This is the most important part. So we are telling the model, save the key and value information because we are going to need it again. Now, where exactly we are saving that? In this line. So after running the model, we get this, and this is extremely important. So conceptually, what we are saying, take the key and value information, Gamma just calculated, and save it for the next iteration. And then we are going to generate the next token. So this is the most important thing which I want to tell you. And if you are trying to run this code, like I have one more example, again, you don't need to understand this benchmark. But if you see that for generating the 1000 token, without KV cache, it took 75.63 seconds. And with KV cache, it took 67.30 seconds, which is not really big number difference, but that is only for 1000 tokens. Think of it like if we are dealing with 10,000 or more than that. So KV cache is really, really important. But KV cache is not. This cache need to be stored somewhere, and that somewhere is the GPU memory. So if you look at my previous video, I have also showed you on this day 3 that how to perform this KV cache calculation. Now, KV cache trade memory for speed. So in case if you have 1 user, 10 user, then this KV cache is manageable. But as your number of users grow, you need to have some optimization in place to manage this KV cache. And that is where the frameworks like VLM and SGLang becomes important. So just to re-emphasize this point, without KV cache, the model repeatedly recalculate the information for previous token. With KV cache, it remembers the attention, key and value state from the previous token and reuses them so decoding can focus on the newly added token. So just to summarize whatever we have discussed so far, an LLM does not generate an entire response at once. It first processes the input prompt during the prefill phase and then generate the response one token at a time during the decode phase. Each newly generated token is used to help predict the next token. Without optimization in place, the model could repeatedly process information from previous token, which is the complete waste in terms of computation. KV cache solves this by storing useful key and value information from previously processed token and reusing it during decoding. This makes token generation much faster, although it requires additional GPU memory. So in simple terms, prefill process the prompt, decode generate the response, and KV cache help make decoding faster. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like this video, please don't forget to share and subscribe. I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you.